Hey guys, another Thursday, January the 18th, live at Casino Queen.
Nice, beautiful 70-degree day inside.
Yeah, it's in a temperature-controlled environment. It's not bad outside though.
Temperature control
You know,
environment.
temperature controlled.
Yeah, today was the first decent day in the last week, and
Yeah,
then we got about 3 more days of misery coming up after today.
yeah.
Yes. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, I'm Clemson John, Damian and David alongside. We got a lot of action tonight. A lot of good college basketball. I hit them last night. Had Rutgers money line when they were losing by 6 at plus 380. So I cashed the home team with the Rutgers.
Great call.
The old Jimmy Valvano's first team he ever coached. If everybody remembers Jimmy
Of
V.
course. How do you not remember Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy V. Yeah. He tells the story about he got the head coaching job at Rutgers when he was in his 20s, and he gave the same speech that Vince Lombardi gave, and instead of substituting the Green Bay Packers when he was talking to his team, firing them up, instead of substituting the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, he says, the Green Bay Packers. Everybody's like, what?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the Green Bay Packers tonight.
Robert
Hickman.
Dogs, of course.
Yeah, Robert Hickman joining us in 15 minutes. We haven't had Robert on in a long time. Be nice to hear what he has to say.
All those Packers fans are sitting high on the mountain this week.
I have a feeling they'll be in the valley Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's they got a tall task ahead of them.
I was all on Green Bay Saturday.
Really?
Or Sunday, against Dallas.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
All on Green Bay. Dallas is kind of a fraud.
I have.
And I kind of
Dallas killed me.
Mike McCarthy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
How the hell he still has a job is beyond me, but whatever.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. Absolutely terrible hire. Maybe they'll figure it out. They kept showing Jerry Jones on the game Sunday. Yeah, he wasn't there happy.
I will say Mike McCarthy has a good offensive line. Dallas's offense was very good this year. They have 2 very good defensive players. The rest of their defense is awful.
Well, the rest of the defense is just inconsistent.
It's awful.
Russell, he can barely see
Jayron
me.
Kearse is a good back end.
I'm getting cut off half of me.
Got it.
Got it.
Jayron Kearse is a good back end safety. He's just inconsistent.
They're undersized. They can be run on. They don't cover that well. The guy who had the 6 touchdown returns for interceptions, he had his last one like week 11.
Yeah.
And all he did was get barbecued the rest of the season. Teams figured out you can use double moves on him, and Dallas couldn't cover anybody the last few weeks of the season that had any type of sniff of a passing offense. They should have lost to Detroit. They got the gift call from the refs, and they deserved to. I honestly was kind of glad that they lost and Detroit won, and Detroit got the home game they should have had. They should in the next round anyway.
Well, Detroit gets home field advantage against Tampa.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what Baker, the touchdown maker, can do there.
That's a rematch
on the road. Good luck, Baker.
That's a rematch of a week 6 game that Detroit won very comfortably in Tampa. For those of you betting, you should play the over in that game. The first time it was 20-6. Detroit won comfortably. This is going to be. There's a 10-point rule. Everybody knows I give out a 10-point rule. First time that they played, a game went more than 10 points under the total. You play the over the second time. So the total right now, I believe, is 47.5. Jump on that over and play it now before it goes up.
I found a good little tidbit on the kiosk. Tampa Bay team total, move it up and take under 28.5.
What was the minus number?
Minus 226.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No, that's not bad at all.
Buccaneers under 228.
Baker actually played really well this weekend.
Well, who hasn't played very well against Phillies?
Yeah.
Phillies. That defense.
Just remember, Detroit's pass defense is as bad as Philadelphia's.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, good luck, Baker.
The only difference is
Baker played well. They dropped a lot of balls. They didn't. I'm just saying he did play well this weekend.
Detroit does one thing very well defensively, and that's stop the run. When I saw Clemson John here last week, I was in an argument with the guy. Kyron Williams was minus 190 to score a touchdown in that game. I told a guy, I said, I wish I could bet that he couldn't score. He would not
Right,
score a
yeah.
touchdown at plus
That would be a
juice.
cool little prop if you could bet no touchdown.
The guy was in an argument saying I didn't know anything about football.
Goodness.
I tried to explain to him that Detroit's given up like 2 rushing touchdowns all season. Kyren Williams would not score a touchdown in that game. He thought he knew more than me. Kyren Williams didn't even sniff getting a touchdown in that game. So
not even close.
He never came close.
Yeah, Detroit's problem's not the line.
Exactly. Like I said, Detroit stuffs the run. They just can't stop the pass. And what Tampa Bay does very well is they run play action. I don't think the play action is going to be very effective against Detroit.
But now, you like the over?
I love the over in this game. Detroit's going to score 35 points. I mean, Jalen Hurts threw for 250 without his number one weapon in A.J. Brown. The Detroit's receivers are there. Laporta is back, and he's looking better and better from all reports I have. He was kind of limited last week. You could see it, but he had the knee brace on. He's looking better and better this week. Tampa Bay struggles against tight ends, a really good tight end. And with Detroit's receivers and that dominant running game that they have, I expect Detroit to win the game somewhere around 37-27, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not in love with this. I don't think I'd lay getting 3-1 on Tampa under 28.5. I could see them scoring potentially that many points, but I think Detroit wins and covers.
The 6.5.
The 6.5. To be honest, I like all 4 favorites this week, and I never like the favorites.
What do you think about the over/under in the Kansas City game? It's 45.5.
I would play the over in that game.
Okay.
That is also a 10-point rule.
I moved it to 39.5.
I was saving that one for myself, but since you asked, I will be also playing the over in the Kansas City Buffalo game.
So I moved the line. I did a 4-teamer. I moved both first 2 favorites, San Fran, and I left Detroit alone at 6.5. But San Fran and Baltimore I took down to 2.5-point favorites, and then I left Detroit alone at minus 6.5, and I took the over 39.5 in a 4-teamer. It only pays close to 3-1 for the 4-teamer, but I like that. I like all 4 favorites also, but instead of the favorite in the last game, Buffalo, I just decided to go move the line for the over.
I think Buffalo's going to win a 34-21 kind of game. A couple of weeks after Buffalo beat the Chargers on that game where they were very fortunate. Week was it 16? They had 2 games left. I actually bet Buffalo to win the AFC. And
Josh Allen played really well too.
Yeah, I saw the Dolphins were falling apart. I liked Buffalo. They were going to. I kind of had the feeling they were going to be able to avoid Baltimore until the AFC Championship game, and I was getting plus. I don't know, was it plus?
All you heard was Josh Allen interceptions.
Well, if you got,
he didn't throw any.
I need Baltimore to win the Super Bowl. So if Baltimore wins, okay. So who would I rather play in the championship game, Kansas City or Buffalo?
You'd much rather play Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Buffalo's much more dangerous, many more weapons.
It's the first time Mahomes has to go on the road for this game, a playoff game, right?
Yes.
I think it's the first time.
This is his first
in 4 years.
His first road.
Right?
Yeah, I mean he's either been a home game or the neutral site Super Bowl. He has never played a road game in a playoff.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So this is something else. Going to that new environment that he hasn't had before. They're only getting 2.5. I don't know. I don't like the game itself. I don't like who to take a side.
I'm gonna take Buffalo. I love Buffalo.
Buffalo had 3 defensive starters leave the game against Pittsburgh with injuries Monday. From what I'm hearing and I was reading, one of them is the one who suffered a concussion. He has not quite passed the concussion protocol yet, but it looks like he's going to be able to go. The guy who sprained his ankle, he's practiced on a limited basis. I don't think he's going to go. And then the other one's purely going to be a game time decision. But this is the game where I think they could miss those players against Kansas City. The Chiefs are so limited offensively. They have Kelsey, who has not been the same type of player he was earlier in the year. Rashee Rice is the one legitimate outside threat that they have. And then they do have, Pacheco could probably have a fairly decent game in this game. I'm not in love with his prop bet. I won't touch it. If I do, I'll play the under in it because I think it might be a little high. But I think Kansas City gets behind. I think they scored a couple of scores late. I think this game kind of plays out like the Buffalo-Pittsburgh game did, where Buffalo got out to the big lead and semi-coasted to victory.
Yeah, I heard all week Josh Allen interceptions. He played like a winning racehorse on Monday. He did.
Yeah,
Josh Allen was a
I kind of
stud
like
on Pittsburgh defense too. That's all you heard too.
Yeah.
Well, you got to see. That was a thing. That's why. I saw the weather cleared up. I was big on Buffalo. They didn't have T.J. Watt. The Steelers are 3-11 when T.J. Watt doesn't play. 3-11. Now they're 3-12 when T.J. Watt doesn't play. He is a difference maker. He's one of the 2 or 3 best defensive players in the NFL. You take him off of that team, you take him off of that defense, it's not the same. I actually thought the Steelers defense played pretty well in that game.
They did okay. Yeah.
They turned the ball over twice and gave Buffalo 14 points basically. But, I actually thought their defense acquitted themselves fairly nicely in that game.
Yeah, I thought Mason Rudolph played better than I thought he would.
He played a lot better than you thought he would.
He played better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally, I think the Steelers' Achilles heel is that their quarterback situation is not very good.
Yep. They got
If
3 quarterbacks and none of them are very good.
Yeah, if I were the Steelers, and this will never ever happen, we all know I'm a Pittsburgh guy. If I was the Steelers, I would try to get Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that's what I would try to do. They have the playmakers at wide receiver. They have 2 very good running backs. Justin Fields would be a dynamic.
Give him a
piece
change
in
of
that
scenery.
Offense. Maybe trade your one for the Bears too, and get Justin Fields.
Yep.
And I'll be honest. The team that really should go after Justin Fields is the Falcons.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I'm a big believer that what the Bears are going to do is the Bears are going to trade down. The Bears will draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Either, whoever one of those teams is going to go up, the 2, 3, or 4. They all need a quarterback. New England, was it 2, 3, and 4? New England. I'm drawing a blank on the not Arizona. Arizona's 5, but yeah, I think
but the Bears played really well the last few weeks of the season.
That's exactly my point. I think if you're the Bears, you just go ahead and accumulate more draft picks. Trade. Go ahead and trade number 1. Move down to 3 or 4. Take Marvin Harrison Jr. You got an absolute stud on the outside to go along with, because the Bears only had 1 wide receiver this year, legitimately, and that was DJ Moore. They didn't have anybody else on the outside. You put Marvin Harrison Jr. on that team, and you draft him. They also have the additional first round pick. Remember they have Carolina's, which is the number 1 overall. You're getting a 1, probably a 2, and a 1 next year just to move down a couple of spots. You take your best offensive lineman to help protect him and to help the running game. The Bears could be a monster next year if they draft well and they do what's right with that first overall pick. They could be an absolute monster.
Is Caleb Williams a lock to go number 1?
Yeah,
is that what they're saying?
He will go number 1. I can't see any way he doesn't. I know everybody, from everything I'm reading, it's going to be Williams and May at 1 and 2. I personally think Drake May is very overrated. But when you desperately need a quarterback, those guys go higher than they should. See Zach Wilson.
Yep. Josh Rosen.
Yep. Yeah, Josh Rosen. He fell to number 9.
Did Josh Rosen go above Josh Allen?
Hey, ready?
I don't know. I think he came after Allen.
He did.
I think it was 9 and 10. I think Rosen was 10.
I'm just not a big. I just Caleb Williams he scares me. Not talent wise, just a lot of the theatrics and stuff like that. It just kind of scares me away. the fingernail painting of the F Utah.
I see prima donna written all over
Yeah,
him.
it just kind of a lot of things scare me about Caleb Williams that has nothing to do with his talent.
Yeah, his talent's off the charts. He could be a Ryan Leaf type mental case.
All right, guys. Hey, Robert Hickman joining us. How you doing, Robert?
The Green
Good,
Bay
how are you guys?
Packers.
Doing great. The Green Bay Packers. Clemson John says.
hold on. Clemson, what were you just saying about Caleb Williams, though?
I don't like him. He scares me.
I completely agree. I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. I don't think he did very well this past year, and I think we saw a lot of flaws in Caleb Williams. And yeah, great. We're gonna get the big name quarterback from USC, but what's he gonna do to help us? Is he gonna be? I think he's gonna be kind of another Bryce Young.
Well, Bryce had a lot of, Bryce on a bad team, We don't know. The book's still open on young Bryce, but you like that. Huh?
And there it is.
The book's still open on young Bryce, but anyway, yeah, just a lot of things scare me about him. I'm not big on Jaden Daniels either. I don't know about Drake.
If you remember,
May.
that was one guy I nailed before the year. I told you Jaden Daniels is a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate.
Hey, Robert, you're hearing the voice of Damien, who joins us occasionally, and just to let you know who you're talking to if it chimes in.
What's up, Damien? What do you guys think? Do you think J.J. McCarthy is going to make a good transfer into the NFL, though?
I think he's Mac Jones light.
Ooh.
I don't see J.J. McCarthy. I watched him play. I don't see the arm. I mean, he's got a nice arm. I don't see the athletic ability. I think he was a product of having superior talent everywhere around him. I don't see J.J. McCarthy as a legitimate. I wouldn't waste my time with J.J. McCarthy. I think he's basically Will Levis from last year. And if anybody knows, I basically just crushed Will Levis all pre-draft last year, and that's how I think of J.J. McCarthy.
You don't think Will Levis played okay?
I think he did all right in a couple of games.
Yeah.
As soon as teams got a book on him, he was very unproductive.
I thought he played well a couple of games.
Well, like I said, you just had to get a book on him. As soon as they got a book on him, they realized what he could and couldn't do. The last few games he played, his numbers deteriorated rapidly. So I'm still completely anti Will Levis. I wouldn't be stunned if you see the Tennessee Titans take a quarterback in the first round of this draft.
They got to get a coach first.
They had to get what first?
They got to get a coach first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, I think Tennessee made a huge mistake firing Vrabel.
Absolutely agree. And Vrabel was great for that team. The players loved Vrabel, but the only problem was the general manager. They brought in a new GM. Once you get a new GM, the GM wants to have his boys in there. Yep. He doesn't want anybody else, and that's the reason why Vrabel, unfortunately, was let go.
Yeah, if you look at that Titans team, that team really lacks talent. That's one of the 3 or 4 least talented teams in the NFL. Their offensive line isn't good. They had Hopkins, who actually ended up having a fairly nice season at wide receiver, but they had to get him late, in training camp to come there. The one good draft pick, Tyjae Spears looks like he could be a legitimate NFL player. Derrick Henry's at the end of his career. There's no way they're going to pay him what he was making. There's no way he should get what he was making. You could see the tread on the tires is kind of deteriorated on him.
I think that Derrick Henry was this season's Josh Jacobs. Jacobs was such a big name the year before, and now he did not have a great season this year, but he got his contract, and Derrick Henry is this season's Josh Jacobs.
I said, Henry's been in the NFL for 8 years now. That's a lot of carries on that big running back, and he's the physical. He's the closest thing to Earl Campbell I've ever seen. And, Campbell had about an 9-year career, and then he just kind of disappeared. I think you could see toward the end of the season, Derrick Henry's career is pretty close to being done. I think his days as a number 1 NFL running back are over.
He was like Mike Allstott with speed.
All stot.
Yeah. He
Boom,
was,
boom, boom.
yeah. 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 He was like Mike
All right,
Allstott
David,
with
sorry,
speed.
sorry, I didn't mean to take over your show. It is your show, but
No, it's okay. It's okay. I like having you back. Hey, Robert, we gotta let you talk about your Green Bay Packers on the road to the Super Bowl. Let's do that.
you know, I will be. I hate to say it. I love my Packers, but I hate to say it. This is probably and Greg Damon. Greg Damon, I know you're listening. Please don't get mad at me because you and I both know we love the Packers. But the 49ers are a team. The 49ers are a team. But I have not been a Jordan Love guy. David, you know this. I talked about this since we got him. I am not a Jordan Love fan. I don't think he's very great. But he is proving me wrong right now in the playoffs. And I will be the first to bow down and show my love for Love if he gets us past the 49ers and into the NFC Championship game.
I mean, he was legitimately the best NFL quarterback the second half of the season. He had the best numbers. His touchdown to interception ratio was, I think it's like 21-1 in the last 8 weeks. He's been absolutely remarkable. He's way better than I thought he was. It very much pains me to say, but his numbers were better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Let's not get too carried away. Well, we don't have a big enough. Yeah, short term. Let's see the sample.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, let's see the sample size over years. Then we can talk about that, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. In his first year as the guy for the Packers, his numbers are better than what Aaron had.
Yeah, he's a big surprise. In fact, every time I think about you and Greg, every time I watch a Packer game, and I don't even know how they made the playoffs. Really nice, quiet run by the Packers. If you're not a Packer fan, it was like a quiet run to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it helps that Justin Fields and the Bears are picking daisies, and it also helps that Kirk Cousins got hurt because really the race for the NFC North should have come down to Minnesota and Detroit, but once Cousins went down, that's when it became the Packers and the Lions. And man, Greg is going to hate me for saying this too, but I got Detroit going to the Super Bowl.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, Riffy on the chat says Riffy says Super Bowl champs, Detroit.
It would be very nice to have Detroit as a Super Bowl champion. Something that they've never been able to do. But on the flip side, we're talking NFC, but on the flip side, on the AFC side, that Baltimore team showed that they're a good ball team, and they are going up against Houston this weekend. And C.J. Stroud, man, he made Cleveland look like dummies.
Yeah, he looked good. At the beginning of the season, these two guys were sitting here, and we didn't know what to expect from C.J. Stroud, but they look good, and he's getting better. I don't think they're going to beat Baltimore, but, stranger things have happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if they get Lamar in situations he gets banged up a little bit running the ball, then, it's not too much of a strange thing to think that. I mean,
I think Baltimore wins this game comfortably, and the game stays under.
Yeah, they should. I agree.
I mean,
the way Houston wins is to make Lamar uncomfortable.
If you look at what Houston has right now, they're down 3 of their top 4 wide receivers. They have Nico Collins, and then Dalton Schultz is all right at tight end. They just don't have much right now other than Nico Collins. I tell you right, Harbaugh is going to take Nico Collins away in this game, and he's gonna say, C.J. Stroud, you have to beat me with somebody other than Nico Collins. And I don't think Houston has the players to do it. I think these two teams played week 1. I think this game ends up very close to a carbon copy of what week 1 was. Yep. And I think it was 34-7 or something. I think was week 1. I think this game is going to be a very similar result.
I'm sorry, Robert. We're looking at you're not here, but this gentleman, we're right in the lobby. You know where we're at, right in front of the
Yeah.
sportsbook at DraftKings, the Casino Queen. This guy comes in with a bike and a backpack trying to enter the casino floor, but this is not your average bicycle.
Yeah,
What is this? Is this supposed to carry like an Amazon bicycle? It's supposed to carry packages. What is this
It
thing?
looks like it's like a motorized bike.
Yeah, it's
Or
customized.
trying
That's
to bring it on the casino.
yeah. He's trying to I mean, or find a place to put it. This is one of the most. Yeah, it is motorized, I guess. Right. This thing is
Yeah.
very, very strange. Like,
Wow.
wow. And this guy's like worried about like not strapping it in. Nobody's gonna steal that thing. I promise.
Right.
I don't know. I might take that out to my car with me and stick it. in
I
the
mean,
trunk.
it's interesting. I know you're not here to see it, but wow. I'm sorry to get off track, guys, but this is
Yeah.
like, where's the seat? Oh,
It
where's the
takes-
seat?
You can take the seat off, Dave.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can adjust it. take
Well,
it
you
off.
can also put like 10 packages on the back of it and deliver packages in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
Like that would be a bike I would see like in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Carrying packages. It's
Some of those you put an 80cc motor on them.
oh, see, he doesn't have a seat. Look at that thing. He's riding it down. He's riding it inside the casino,
Down the hallway.
down the hallway. I mean, this one you think you've seen it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
totally that's one to stop the show right
It's an
there.
80cc. You put an 80cc motor, little motor on.
Is
it.
that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah.
You can get it 30 miles an hour.
Okay. All right. That thing ain't going 30 miles an hour.
With that motor, it will.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, enough of that. But anyway, Robert, if you were here to see it, you would have stopped you in your
It was
tracks.
definitely a showstopper. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that.
Very interesting. He tried to enter the casino floor on this thing.
He got a lot of attention. People were looking at him like he was nuts.
Yeah. Well, he just tried to enter the casino floor with that
Well, I'm
bike.
talking like even when he was walking back or whatever.
Well, that's true. Asking's for free, right? Okay. Well, there it is. All right, Robert.
One thing I noticed is my prediction for the Packers is they're going to have a hard time defensive. That's my prediction. I'm not really worried about Jordan Love and everything, but I think defensively it's going to be a long day.
I think San Francisco's team total of 29.5 is a very good overplay.
That's what the real line is, 29.5.
That's what I
Dang,
saw
that's
earlier.
high.
I think you're laying.
Well, let's
juice on it, but-
let's look at what some of the props are that are out there right now. You got Brock Purdy at 268.5 passing yards. You got CMC at 101.5 rushing.
Wow.
Debo with 21.5 rushing and 67.5 receiving.
You'll get better numbers than that here. I just played Debo over receiving was 59.5.
Ooh. Wow.
I used him in my
Ooh.
anytime touchdown. I used him and Kelsey for any
Oh.
a 2-team parlay, anytime touchdown.
Okay. So let me talk to you about what David has created, the monster that David has created.
I did it. Whatever it is, I did it.
David created a monster. I heard, a commercial, and I was watching the episode last week, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna put a little money down on the games this weekend. And I had a pick six where if I would have gotten it, would have won $1,000. But no, I couldn't get 2 rushing yards from Jared Goff.
Oh.
So I won a whole $40, and now I'm sitting here trying to figure out where I'm putting my money because I want the $1,000.
Okay, so what he's talking about is the new pick six with
The
DraftKings
DraftKings
fans.
pick six.
Yeah,
fantasy.
DraftKings pick six. And David Sanders and I talked a little bit about it last week. And very interesting. Yeah. So if nobody hits 6 out of 6, they pay the 5 out of 6. But you have to know like how the payoffs work because you don't know them in advance.
Mhm.
It's almost like horse racing. It's what's left in the pool and how many people hit it.
Okay.
It's kind of I
Yes.
think we hit it like that. That they take their little juice and then the rest is distributed amongst. So the harder you pick,
Player pool.
the better shot you have of making more money, right? The less
Yep.
people that hit. I have yet to really get into the pick six, but it seems like a pretty neat bet. But I'd like to know how they structure their payouts. Hey, Tony.
Yeah. It's a new concept.
it's a
It
new
sounds
concept.
like.
What's that? Yes. Come on. We're waiting on you. Yeah. Detroit -6.5. Yeah. Sorry,
It's
Robert.
hard not to like Detroit.
Huh? Yeah.
Hard not to like Detroit.
You want to come join us?
You know, that was my favorite part about being out there, David, is people did not know what we were doing some of the times, and they would just randomly give us information.
Yeah. Well, he knows what we're doing, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are on the air? Oh, he just they don't know if we're like if you're talking, we're just sitting here not talking. People don't think we're doing people don't think we're doing anything.
Well, no matter what happens, it's been a great, great run for the Packers. It really has. They started the season. Do you remember what they started the season, David?
0-5 was it?
No, not 0 and 5.
Was it
2 and
2-5? Yeah.
They
We were
start 2
2
and 5.
and we went on to win 7 of the last games.
Yeah. See, that's what I said. They quietly got into the playoffs. Quietly.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch. I like that you're a realist though, and you don't your expectations of what's going to happen this weekend. But you know, anything can happen, right? That's why they play. They went into Dallas and demolished them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, speaking of that, Dallas has made the decision that they're not going to be parting with Mike McCarthy or Dak Prescott, and actually are looking into giving a contract extension to Dak Prescott. And here's my question. When do we get rid of Jerry Jones as the general manager and get somebody in there that actually cares?
So that's going to be up to Jerry Jones,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
That is-
nothing's gonna change in Dallas. They kept showing him on TV, his pouting face, all game, and like his hands up there, like, how is this possible? And I'm like, you can't get out of your own way, Jerry. And then you hire a coach that's awful. What do you expect?
Whoa. I won't say Mike McCarthy's
I know,
awful.
'cause you're-
He took
yes,
the
he-
Packers
he-
to the Super Bowl, won
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Yes, I know, and that's
He's just
exactly
a
what I was
yes
going to
man.
say. Yes, so that's exactly what I was going to say. John's absolutely correct. I knew you would say that because you got a Super Bowl out of him, but somebody from the outside that isn't a Packers fan, you should have had at least 2 more Super Bowls in Green Bay. I think if you had a better coach, that's just my opinion. You can take it.
I can see that. We had Favre for a little bit with McCarthy, but if I'm not mistaken, McCarthy only had 1 or 2 losing seasons in Green Bay where we weren't in the playoffs. So, in my opinion, that's a win. But you have a team like Dallas with Dak Prescott, who is supposed to be an elite quarterback. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have on the defensive side, you have Micah Parsons. You have Diggs. You have all of these players, and you can't figure it out. If you look at the first quarter or the first half, CD and Dak Prescott were fighting with each other on the sidelines and arguing because they couldn't figure out what they were doing.
Yeah, it's a problem. Certainly a problem, right? When your 2 stars are arguing in the
Well,
middle of a
yeah,
game.
that's what happens when you have a yes man as a coach, though.
Yeah.
That's he's not going to confront issues or disagree. He's just going to use his expertise and his X's and O's to try to get as far as he can. But when it comes to handling people, it may be a totally different scenario.
So the question is, Robert, are you going to be doing another pick six?
I don't know if I'm going to do a pick six on the Saturday games because those games. I think those games are going to be too big of a difference. We can run through these games real quick. So Saturday is both of the number 1 seeds. Saturday is going to be Baltimore and Houston. If I take anything in that game, I'm taking everything heavy on Baltimore because I don't think Houston is going to be able to do anything. Game 2 is going to be the other number 1 seed on the NFC side, which is the Packers and the 49ers. And I wouldn't take anything on that game only because of how it was in Dallas. Green Bay was not supposed to come out and win that game in Dallas. And somehow, poof, the magic fairy dust was all over Jordan Love and the team, and they came out and killed them. So that game, neither one of those 2 games, unless you're going to put something on the line, I would not do a pick six or something on that game because those 2 games are going to be too one way to be able to pick something. The games on Sunday, though, are the games that I probably will put something on. The first game is the Detroit and Tampa Bay game. I think somebody just said it a minute ago. Detroit is
6.5.
6.5. And that team did really well. They covered on all of the props that I put up. David Montgomery got hit yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown got his yards. Jared Goff just couldn't get 2 rushing yards.
Well,
but,
he's not a big rushing quarterback.
He's not, but even at the end of the game when they're blitzing and stuff to try and keep them from scoring, I thought I would get at least 2 rushing yards.
All right,
That's
so
the
what
only
was
reason I
what
took
was
it.
the total? What was the total that you had to hit? Not, I know you needed 2 yards, but what was his total rushing yards for the game?
-3. His total rushing for the game was -3. I just needed 1.5, and I picked the over on 1.5.
Well, okay, so you needed 1.5 rushing yards.
Correct.
Okay, so he needed 2 total. So he would have had to get 5 to get there at the end. Yeah, I got you.
Right.
Yeah, 1.5. How do you like that? Your prop bet is over 1.5 rushing yards. That's just a scramble,
I know.
John. That's just a 5-yard scramble with allow yourself a couple yards to even you got to be careful in those. Does that count? I got a question for you guys. If you have, let's say he has 3 rushing yards or even 4, it doesn't matter. When you go to kneel down, do they take that off your rushing
Yeah, the
yards?
kneel down
Yes.
count is negative. Rushing.
Yes, that is a negative yardage play.
Sacks do not, but kneel down.
Sacks do not, but
Sacks do
yeah.
not.
So that's why he had the negative was the 3 kneel downs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no. He had one that he scrambled and got sacked, and then he had the kneel down.
Okay. So you really, when you over that 1.5, you need to get to at least 5 to be comfortable if you take 3 kneel downs.
Correct.
Okay. I've never really seen. Have you seen all 3 kneel downs? I've only seen 2.
I've seen
Is
3.
it? It's pretty rare though, right?
Well,
If you need it to run
after
the
the
clock
2 minute,
out.
at the
Yeah,
2
I
minute
know if you
warning to
need-
run
yeah.
the clock out.
Yeah. All right. So you need to get to 5. You needed Jared Goff to scramble and get loose and run
Right.
for 5 yards. That's what you needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But Tampa Bay has been good too, though. So Baker Mayfield and those guys, that's why I'm saying that would be an interesting game to be able to put some bets on. And then you got the Bills and the Chiefs game for the closing game for the weekend. I mean, we've seen this game how many playoffs now in a row?
Yeah, for sure. But this time it's different, Robert. It's in Buffalo.
I thought it was in Buffalo 2 years ago.
No.
No,
No.
the Kansas City.
Never.
Kansas City.
It's been in Kansas City every time.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
well that definitely changes things.
This is Mahomes' first road playoff game.
Wow.
Yeah. He has never been on the road. Just the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just a Super Bowl and a neutral site, but never. He's had every playoff game at home. This is his first one.
Oh yeah, speaking of Super Bowls, fun fact: the only team that has won more playoff games in AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys, the Green Bay Packers.
Wow, and there it is.
With this Chiefs Bills game though, I think part of the reason that the Chiefs won against the Dolphins, yes, the Dolphins haven't been great down the stretch. The Bills have been okay down the stretch, but it was cold. The Dolphins players weren't able to adjust in that, and I think that's what gave the Chiefs the advantage. But Buffalo knows how to play in the cold.
I think weather always has something to do with it.
Well, the weather in Buffalo on Sundays was supposed to be around 20 degrees, not much wind, no snow. So, it's just good. It's the weather really for those 2 teams complete non-factor.
The weather outside is frightful.
I will tell you my biggest prop bet of the weekend is Josh Allen over his passing yards in that game. 227.5 right now. I loaded up and put some big money on the under on that. Or on the over, on the over on his passing yards.
Robert.
Yep.
Hey, Robert, we lost you for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Call dropped. But yes, the weather, Damien, I think, was talking about it. The weather, not a lot of wind, but it's still supposed to be cold. I don't know if Buffalo has completely thawed out since last week.
I think
The Chiefs game was colder.
I think the Chiefs were probably more frozen than Buffalo was.
Yeah.
The Chiefs game was colder, yes.
Yeah, that was nasty.
I think, what was it, the 4th coldest game in NFL history?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's crazy. I can't even
So-
imagine getting hit when it's warm, but getting hit when it's like that.
I think it was the second coldest when you consider the wind chill.
The wind
index
chill?
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just brutal conditions.
All right, Robert. We're gonna let you go. We got some other things to cover. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Absolutely, fellas. I'll be back if the Packers win. If not, I'll never talk to you again. I'm just kidding.
all right, take care, Robert. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
Okay, that was fun. You guys want
Yeah.
to take a 2-minute break?
Yeah, I got to sort these tickets out right off the bat. Seems like the Drexel Dragons are letting me down
Okay.
at home against Monmouth.
All right, we take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
And we are back here at DraftKings at Casino Queen for our last segment here. That was fun having Robert on. He's a big Green Bay Packers fan. Robert helped us start the show in the beginning. So he's always loves to talk about the Packers, and the Packers are on top of the mountain for this weekend.
Well, you can see he's a little versatile because he knows more than just about the Packers. So
Yeah, he
Definitely-
loves them though.
definitely
Kind
a
of like
good
me with
guess.
Clemson. You know, I know about Clemson football more than anything else. But
well, I'm a diehard Steelers fan, and I had Buffalo last week. When I saw they were moving the game and the weather, I was stunned the Steelers even had a chance to cover that. To tell you the truth,
yeah,
So I can separate my fandom from reality. I'll put it that way. Some people cannot do that.
I get it. I'm going through that now with Clemson basketball. I'm like, here's our January collapse. You know, we lose to Georgia Tech. We have a 9-point lead 2 nights ago with a minute 30 left. We're 11-point favorites at home against Georgia Tech. We blow a 9-point lead with a minute 30 and lose in double overtime to the Ramblin' Wreck. Like, here comes our January collapse. It's just so I know what you guys mean with
Well, I will tell you, I've watched Clemson play a little bit this year. They're a borderline NCAA tournament team to me.
Well, they got a lot of talent. It's just their coaching is terrible. Their coaching's been terrible for years.
I don't really think they have that much talent.
Joe Girard's a great guard. PJ Hall's a NBA player.
PJ Hall is potentially a 8th or 9th guy on an NBA team. Other than him, I don't see it. I don't see anybody on that team who's a real difference maker.
Yeah, Joe Girard's great. Shefflin down low is gritty, a compliment to PJ Hall. I know the guys can fill their roles. Yeah, but here comes the January collapse. So I know what you guys mean with like what you can expect with your teams and stuff like that. It's not a surprise sometimes, but as far as the Clemson football program, I've got a reason to be optimistic all the time about that dang thing. So it's a little different,
Well, they're going to have some holes to fill this year on that defense.
Yeah, they're losing losing a few guys. Barrett Carter came back at linebacker, so that was a big win for us. A lot of good freshmen though. Those freshmen played really well defensively the last 3 or 4 games. Went to South Carolina, and South Carolina never found the end zone. So yeah, it was they do have some holes to fill though. It'll be an exciting look ahead in a few months. But I got a few sweats right now, Damian. I need the Drexel Dragons with 2 minutes left to take a halftime lead in a nationally televised game against Monmouth. Kind of strange. Drexel's at home, trailing Monmouth. So it's 31-28. What do we got? 2 minutes left or so. So if Drexel can somehow take a lead, it'll keep my ticket live. Everything else is looking good.
Where's Drexel?
Where's Drexel? Virginia, is that right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I think it's in
Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Let me look. Where is Drexel?
I guess I could have looked it up. But Davey forgot his glasses.
Pennsylvania, Philly. It's a Philly school.
Forgot my glasses again.
Oh, well.
I can't see.
Yep. Okay.
That's why I have
nothing I can do about that one.
No, you can't do it.
But it's a Philly school, one of those basketball Philly schools, like the Big East. Like you used to have Temple and stuff like that.
It's one of the Big Five, Temple. And
Yeah, St. Joe's. But we need the Drexel Dragons to not blow it here with 1:50. I'm in bad shape. I'm down 6. But if I can keep that one live, I got Michigan State full-time, Michigan State halftime, looking good. My favorite free money game of the day was Vermont. I loved the Catamounts. Loved them against Binghamton. We got a discount because Vermont was on the road, but it didn't matter. Binghamton's not much of a home environment. There might have been 130 people at the game. So, yeah, Vermont, I'm loving them this year. Hey, Drexel hits a free throw. It's 28-33.
The best team in the American East, Vermont.
Yeah, and they're just almost automatic at home. A great team to find some value in for sure. I like Wilmington against Elon in the Colonial Athletic Conference. I like Wilmington. I like Delaware against Stony Brook. I like Moorhead money line, but that was a -400. I just figured I'd put it in there to juice it up. Sometimes you just got to put the free ones in there to juice it up, Damian. That's the Moorhead play. And then tonight I got Grand Canyon first half, Grand Canyon for the game. Grand Canyon's having a hell of a year. Have you seen them at all?
Yeah.
They got one loss. They're like 16-1 or something. Blowing people out. They used to be like an online school. They used to advertise like, go to Grand Canyon online to get your degree or something.
They made the NCAA tournament.
They did?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That must have slipped by my radar.
Who are we talking about?
Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, yeah.
And I think they gave somebody a hell of a fight, too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
They're doing really well this year.
16-1.
John and
I got them
talked about
tonight.
it. Yeah, we talked
Hey,
about
we got a sweat here. You Monmouth. Oh. Damn you, Monmouth.
Somebody deliver these to the El Trash.
Well, hold on. I need back-to-back threes with 40 seconds.
We're going to find the shredder.
Yeah, they should.
Hit that. Oh.
They should. They should have a shredder.
Out, kid.
It's a good idea, David. They should have a shredder sitting. Or what they need to do is have a box for people.
You don't want to have a shredder because sometimes you have to go find your ticket.
Well,
David.
the other end of that is, John, they should have a box for people to throw away their tickets for people who need them for taxable, right?
Oh yeah.
That's a bad idea. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So
you
what do
don't
you
want
need?
a shredder because
Shredder?
you have to find the ticket sometimes. You can't find it if it's shredded.
That's true.
Right. I had guys Sunday had to go find their Bryant, New Hampshire ticket.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about this one.
One of my friends.
This is unbelievable.
So the live line's like 188 and a half or something. And a friend of mine's got under 163 and a half. And a couple of people in here in the book had under 163 and a half.
Oh, this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, by the way.
You seen this? He
Yeah.
had this. A friend of mine had this for $1,500 to bring, or $1,600 to bring back $3,100 on a single bet. He fired big on it, and we didn't even start. We stopped looking at it, and
Well, explain why you stopped looking at
the
it.
live line was 188 or something, and the last 4 minutes of the game.
It was 89-74 with 3 minutes and 58 seconds left.
That's 163
That is
Yep,
163.
163. He had
for those who cannot
163 and a half on
with 3 minutes and 58 seconds.
3
left on
minutes
the
and
clock.
50 some
in
seconds.
basketball, right?
They
Not
don't
football.
score one bucket.
That's
Not
unbelievable.
one.
Not a bucket. None.
I never heard of anything like this.
I don't know if I have either. That was incredible.
That's going to be
He
one of
called
the-
me and said, "Hey, I hit." And I'm like, "What is this idiot talking about? He's looking at the wrong game." And then I looked. I said, "Holy cow!" We get here the next day, and then I said, "Hey, that Bryant, New Hampshire under hit." He said, "Oh, I threw my ticket away." So he had to go find his ticket to get paid.
He found his ticket?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
wild.
I saw the highlights of Scott Van Pelt was doing his bad beat segment on ESPN.
I think it was the number one bad beat of the week.
Yeah,
It was.
I like that bad beat.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
my favorite. That's about the only thing I care to watch on ESPN other than
Sure.
an actual sporting event anymore.
Right.
Is the Scott Van Pelt bad beat segment on Monday nights.
Yeah.
That might be the best 5 minutes of television every week on ESPN. And that
Well, it
was
depends what side of them you're on.
That-
That's true.
since-
Well, that's
since-
always true.
since-
You had the over. You want to sleep for 4 days.
Oh, at least.
since-
The famous
catch
line is,
those
"I'm
now.
never betting again." Right? Right?
Since I saw that and I just busted out laughing when I saw it because I was just sitting there watching. They showed a high. I'm not kidding when I say there was a 3-pointer that they originally called good that they had to go review. That you could see it was barely in his fingertips. After that, there was about 4 missed layups. There was a shot that literally rolled around the rim twice and fell out. It was one of the.
There had to be.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
absolute.
What did they
riot.
reviewed a 3? I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
they reviewed. Yeah, a guy from New Hampshire, I believe, made a 3-pointer on the wing, and they originally called it good, and then they reviewed it, and you could see that the ball was still just barely on the tips of his fingers when the clock hit 0.
Yeah, well, what's
Wow.
amazing-
And it was a 15-point game. No reason to review that.
Yes.
And they went and reviewed it and took it away.
Oh yeah.
Wow, I did not know
Well,
that.
What's amazing is that game was really high scoring going up into the last 4 minutes. Yeah.
I was just entertained as hell watching it because I was kind of sitting at a dead game in the casino, and I just looked up and you see the bad beat segment. I was like, oh, I wish I could have heard it, but oh my god, I'm just sitting there watching. I just got this big shit because I knew it was going to be. I still had no idea that it shows it. I thought maybe the team came back from a big deficit or something at 89-74 with
Right.
3:58 left
Yeah.
and covered the spread. I never imagined there was not another point scored.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Bad beat of the week on SVP.
That might be the bad beat of the year.
It'll be in the running maybe.
Oh, that was definitely entertaining.
But we got some halftime scores. The Flamin' Libs of Liberty are beating FIU. No shocker there. They were big favorites. North Florida beating Kennesaw. That's going to be a game in the Atlantic Sun.
Kennesaw.
Yep. Queens is beating Jacksonville. And a lot of Jacksonville at home. A lot of people on Queens. This was an interesting game. 12-4 UMass Lowell on the road to 10-7 Albany. Lowell only laying 2 points. That's it. Strange line.
Well,
That's one of those lines you look at, it stinks, the stench.
Albany's the other good team generally in the American East.
Yeah, at
And-
home,
and-
Albany's much better.
Well, the other thing is Albany plays a much tougher schedule than UMass Lowell, so the record is a little. I mean, I will tell you myself, if I was betting that game, I would have bet Albany. If I was, I wasn't going to play it. I don't know enough about those
What's
two
the line?
teams to play it.
I think it was 2.
He said UMass.
Let me
Lowell was
look.
a
Let me make
2-point
sure.
favorite.
I'm going to click on it and see here.
That's one of those. That's one of those that
If I can get
know
the
myself,
interwebs to cooperate
The
here.
interweb.
I that's one of those games that I would have took the dog.
There's rumors on the interwebs. Who was that quote by? Anybody? Anybody remember? There's rumors on the interwebs. George Bush quote.
Oh,
It's an old George Bush quote. There's another one with Dan Marino. You ever heard that one? No? It's a great one. Dan Marino and his dynamic wife are here with us. That's one of the greatest quotes.
I love that you crack yourself up and we have no idea what you're talking about.
It's an old George
I
W.
get it, I
quote.
get
He
it.
has 100 of them. It's funny,
I know it is funny.
Yeah, but yeah.
Don't yell at me. I'm sensitive.
Huh?
I said, don't yell at me. I'm sensitive.
Oh, well, I can't help your sensitivity, Davy boy. We got a show to run. Lowell was 2.5. Lowell was 2.5. UMass Lowell minus 2.5.
That's good stuff.
Let's see. Yeah, so that was just one of those things you look at and said, wow, that stinks. Let's see here. What else we got on halftime here? Let's see here. Going back. There we go. Michigan State. Hey, Minnesota's hanging in. You might can get some good value on Michigan State money line right now. I don't know what it is, but I might look at taking it.
Minnesota's got 2 starters with 4 fouls.
Yeah, Michigan State money line. It's a close game. Michigan State 13-point favorites, 12-point favorites start the game, and it's a 51-51 game. So you go take the home team in Michigan State. Yeah, like he said, Minnesota's got 2 guys got 4 fouls. South Florida getting blown out by Memphis. I got South Florida plus 16.
Your thing's toast anyway because Monmouth.
No. That was the other one. These 2 are still live. I need South Florida plus 16.
It's
and
early.
I need
It's early.
Mhm.
It's early.
Yeah, and it's halftime.
Yeah.
But I thought South Florida was going to hang in there a little bit.
Well, they might.
Come on, the Bulls. I need them to say, you mess with the Bulls, you get the horns.
That's
the
what
Bulls
you-
of South
That's what
Florida.
you need.
Wow, look at this shocker. The Shockers are going down to the retirement home.
Oh,
in
that is
Boca
a shocker.
Raton.
Wow.
They just lost to Memphis by 30.
Who's they?
Wichita State.
Okay.
The Shockers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my rules. You have a half decent team, they just get absolutely humiliated. You bet on them the following game.
Yeah. It's a bounce back spot for Wichita. They just got embarrassed. So the last few days have been very serious in that basketball unit. So we're going to go down to Boca Raton. We're not going to get embarrassed again.
What was the line?
15.5.
Wow.
Wichita getting 15.5. Yeah. They got a 42-31 halftime lead, by the way. That's the score.
Yeah.
So the Owls are not looking so good. It's an 11-point deficit. Asheville and Winthrop, I like this Asheville team. 36-43. They're down 7 on the road, though. Charleston and Towson are tied at the half. 38-38. Wow, this is a little bit of a shocker, too. But these mid-colonial teams, Stony Brook and Delaware. Stony Brook going on the road to Delaware with a 10-point halftime lead.
Yeah.
Delaware. UNC Wilmington taking care of business against Elon. That was one of my favorite plays of the day, was Wilmington. I got him on here, don't I? Now, I had him on my dang, I had him on the dang Drexel ticket.
Is that over?
Yeah. They lost the first half.
Is that on my ticket?
I don't know.
I have to check.
No, this is one of my favorite plays, too. William and Mary was laying 5 points against Campbell, David.
I don't know what I did
William
with
and
the ticket.
Mary 7 and 10. They have no business laying 5 points against anybody. So, yeah, I was taking the Camels. The Camels of Campbell.
Yes, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I was taking the soup company, the Campbell Soup Company. Just in spite of them, that's all. But I had South Florida plus 16, the Norse of Northern Kentucky minus 2. We got a 5-point lead.
played
I got
over
the
in that
main-
Northern Kentucky.
Oh, you did the over?
That was
Jeez.
one of
They
the
got
games-
87 points,
That was one
Damien.
of the games I told you I played the over.
They're going to have to not play the second half for you to not hit that one. Good for you.
Well, it ain't over yet.
Yep. Hey, look at this. Green Bay, 12-point dogs with a 10-point halftime lead. They
was the
beat
other
Wright
game
State the first game.
That was the other game I played the over on. That one's not as promising.
They got 7-68,
Yeah.
hanging in there. It's going to be a sweat. You don't have to sweat that one. Dang, this is another game I liked. I liked the Maine Black Bears to go down to UMBC in Baltimore and beat the Retrievers of Baltimore County. UMBC's up 4.
You are playing way too many unknown schools.
No.
that you know
I watch
nothing about.
UMBC. They're terrible. I watch UMBC. They're awful. I bet against them all the time. It's been good for me.
What do you know
but-
about Maine?
Yeah, Maine's
That's
not
my
very good
point.
either.
That's my point.
Yeah, Maine's not very good either.
I've
But
learned-
I was
wait.
going to roll my chances.
Okay, Damien, that's my point. If it's on, you can bet it.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Is
But,
it in the kiosk? Can you bet it? Can you bet it?
Doesn't mean you have to.
Okay, that's not my question. Can you bet it?
Yeah, you
You
bet a
got
lot of
profit
things,
to
David.
do.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm just
But,
trying to tell
You know,
Damien.
Hey.
if you've watched both teams play a couple of times, you have a good feel for it. Yeah, that's a great
I've
thing.
watched
to look and play.
UMBC play a lot. I watched Maine in November. I ain't watched them since then. But UMBC, they're on auto fade. You ever had a team that's been on auto fade? You fade them every time, right? UMBC's on auto fade. They're 5-13. So that was my auto fade
Yeah,
pick.
but I guarantee you, they're probably something more along the lines of 8-9 against the spread.
I don't know what they are ATS. I'd have to look, but nevertheless, they're on auto fade for me.
John, it is time.
Moorhead with a 14-point lead against UT Martin. Hey, Lindenwood's got a game against SIU today too.
You can
That's
bet
a 7 o'clock game. You absolutely can bet the Ohio Valley Conference. Moorhead and UT Martin are Ohio Valley. Moorhead's the best team in the OVC. Yep.
Yeah, since Murray State's not in there anymore.
Yep, that's true. They realigned Belmont. Yeah, Belmont used to be in the
Belmont.
OVC.
Belmont,
Not
Murray State
anymore.
were the two powers in that conference.
Only Belmont I know is the Belmont Stakes and the Belmont Racetrack in New York.
Oh yeah, that's a famous one. Yeah. But we're no, Belmont used to be. They realigned them and put them in Mo Valley. Yeah. Hey, the Mo Valley's going to get 2 teams this year. That's what I'm sticking to. They better get 2 teams rather than them putting the 9th place ACC or SEC or Big Ten team in there. That's probably what they'll do, though. They'll put the 9th place SEC team in over like Indiana State.
What if it's the 9th place ACC team and it's Clemson?
I'm a realist with Clemson. I don't. They irritate the hell out of me. They're in what I call it earlier.
January swoon or whatever.
Yeah, January letdown. Yeah, it's letdown time, or that's what they do every January. We're ranked 12th in the country. Hey, basketball's doing pretty good, and then January rolls around and we lose to Georgia Tech as an 11-point favorite. Yeah, it's January.
What do you got to wrap us up?
No. Oh, my favorite play was Vermont. Yeah, they were going to Binghamton to play. That was my favorite play today, probably.
Give me a couple minutes before we wrap this
Ver-
up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Vermont won by 20.
If I could get John to.
They did go to Binghamton. The only thing Binghamton, you want to know the only thing Binghamton's famous for, really? Well, it's got a Rounders reference in it, yeah.
Got a very famous alum.
Who?
Guy from ESPN, Kornheiser.
Oh, Tony. Oh, you're right. He mentions that on PTI all the time. Yeah, Tony Kornheiser's from there. But one of my favorite things is the spaghetti. It's a sandwich off of a skewer.
Oh, you showed me a picture of that earlier.
Yeah, I'll show everybody what my Binghamton. Yeah, look at that. It's a sandwich with a skewer, and you take the stick out of it, and you got a sandwich with meat and whatever you.
Better take the stick out.
Italian dressing.
You better
meat.
take the stick out.
Yeah, you don't want to take the skewer out. You don't want to bite into the skewer, David.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure
yeah,
they
it's a
have,
spaghetti.
Russell.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? The Binghamton Spaghetti. I think I'm saying it right, but they know what I'm talking about nonetheless. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty incredible,
All right.
That's the only thing
All right.
Binghamton's famous for. So when Vermont was going to play the sandwich spaghettis, I'm like, no, give me the Catamounts all day. Lock it up. And they beat them by 20.
Okay.
I think it's over, but yeah, it is.
What do you got, Damien?
All right. Well, I remember before the NFL season comes, I made 4 NFL season total picks.
The Colts?
No,
No.
I bet them to win the division
That is correct.
at plus 550.
Okay.
If they would have beat Houston the last game, they'd have won the division.
Yep. Giants?
I had that. I had at plus 550. That was a shot going into last week. I had Denver winning the division. Those were my 2 division long shots that I said I thought were great value. Indianapolis had a shot going into last week. Denver had a shot going into the last 2 weeks.
I can't believe Denver even had a shot.
Yeah, but they had a shot.
I know they did.
It was a long shot, but they had a shot. Now remember, I played 4 NFL season totals. I gave everybody the Giants under 8.5 the day that it came out.
Yep. Winner.
Obviously, easy winner. I doubled down on it at the Giants under 7.5. So I even won another $500 on the under 7.5. I gave everybody Pittsburgh over 8.5. Ended up 10-7. They went over. Gave everybody Kansas City under 11.5.
Yeah.
Kansas City won the division, did not go over. And then the one I lost was actually Buffalo under. They went over by half a game. So that was my one loser on the season totals for the NFL.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. For my player prop bet, I bet Anthony Richardson to be the rookie of the year offensive. Obviously, he got
hurt. Yeah.
He got hurt week 3. He was done for the year.
That sucks. That's one thing about those player props I don't like. If they get hurt, you're done.
Yeah, that's why you bet the under.
Yeah,
Well,
if you remember, that was one thing I told you. If you're going to play if you're going to play props, play the unders.
I did Baker under 300 passing yards this week.
Yes, you did.
If you're going to do the props, you do. If you do the props for season long bets, you play the unders. The unders hit. And remember, I told you guys this. They hit about 70% of the time. And I had Garrett Wilson over his touchdown receptions just because who would have saw Aaron Rodgers getting hurt week 4 plays into the season.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Garrett Wilson's numbers, they were actually quite remarkable considering he had Dave throwing him football half the season.
Yeah.
But the Jets had the 4 worst quarterbacks in the NFL throwing him the football.
I might have been able to do better.
I think Garrett Wilson ended up with 4 touchdown receptions, but he had like 1,100 yards. He had a great season considering he had nobody throwing him the football.
I can throw a 5-yard out.
But
that's about it.
And then the other one I had Calvin Ridley over 6.5 touchdown receptions. He got to 7.
Oh, nice.
So I did win that one. I had Jared Goff over his passing yards. He did go over. And the other one I had Devontae Adams under his receiving yards.
Yeah.
He did go under.
Yep.
He didn't have a very good year.
Now, I did have a couple of other players who I played the over on who were complete busts. One was Jerry Jeudy for Denver.
Yep.
He was a complete bust. And then the other one was Treylon Burks for Tennessee. But when Tennessee signed Hopkins, I said, I don't like that bet. I think I'm toast on that one. And that's pretty much what happened. I was toast on that one. And Burks actually got hurt week 2 and missed. I think he missed like 7 or 8 of games for the season.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I did lose on that. So I made a lot of money on the NFL season totals, but I lost quite a bit on the prop bets. So I think I figured it out. I ended up like a net $600 winner. But I had a lot of money out there between the season totals and the prop bets. And if I could have pulled in the Indianapolis to win the division, that'd have been really good. And then just one other thing before we go. Monday night, I had a huge prop bet on Cade Otton to score the first touchdown for Tampa against Detroit, or against Philly. And
okay.
If you remember that first drive, they threw a pass to Cade Otton in the end zone, hit him in the hands between the numbers, and he dropped it.
Wow.
He was plus 1,900 for that touchdown. So that was a kill. I mean, now he did good for me. Other than that, I played the over on his receiving yards.
Yeah.
So that worked out real good, but losing that one hurt.
That's a tough one.
That was tough.
Well, we beat the first touchdowns this year. We beat that. Those first 4 weeks took care of that.
Yep.
For the season.
So, I just want to give you all a couple of prop bets for the week. Like I told everybody, I went and played the over on Josh Allen at 227.5 his yards. A couple other ones I really like for the week. Obviously, who was the gentleman that was with us earlier?
Robert.
You brought up Debo Samuel and said his number was 67.5. You can get it for 59.5 here at DraftKings because I played that one over myself. I also played George Kittle over 52.5 receiving. Green Bay struggles against the tight ends. Remember Ferguson for Dallas last week?
Yeah, Ferguson with 3
He had
touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
I seen a ticket. Do you see that ticket?
He had 3 touchdowns.
Ferguson 3-touchdown ticket.
He had 3 touchdowns and almost 100 yards.
It was thousands to one.
And
Somebody hit it.
yeah,
They put like
so-
$10 to win 50,000 or something.
Wow.
So Green Bay really struggles against good tight ends, and Kittle's as good as there is in the NFL. And one other big prop that I played for the Baltimore-Houston game is I played Zay Flowers over 48.5 receiving yards. I think he's got a great matchup against Houston. I know people were like, he's been hurt. He looked great in practice. Reports that I
rookie.
got. He's the number one target for Lamar Jackson. Houston's run defense is actually surprisingly good. They can be thrown on, and they can be thrown. Joe Flacco threw for 300 yards last week, and he threw for a lot of those early in the game. Houston can be thrown on. Houston's going to be on the road. They are going to get thrown on, and I like Zay Flowers to have a big game. You might want to even potentially look at him to go over, one of those ladder bets with him going over 80 or 90 yards receiving and at big odds and maybe catching a touchdown. So there's a couple of potential plays for you all for the weekend. I'm saving my Sunday plays for see how I do on my Saturday action, but I'll be up here Sunday morning, probably sometime around noon to play the Sunday props.
All right, I like it. Some of us got kids to pick up, boys.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. They're extracurricular activities.
Yeah, that's all I got. Nonetheless.
Are we good?
Yeah,
We're
that's
All
all
right,
I
guys.
got anyway.
We'll be here next week, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Live at DraftKings Casino Queen. Thanks, everyone. Have a great